Koetting.
The lights go up and it's time to begin. I raise my hands to give the very first downbeat with over 200 musicians, ages 4 to 84, staring back at me. My children's choir, my youth choir, my adult choir, my handbells, strings, woodwinds, brass, percussion, as well as my boss, my mentor, all staring back at me. He taught at Juilliard School of Music and Ringling Conservatory of Music, as well as being a published musician. They were all relying on me and looking to me, not only to lead them and keep them together, but to direct them in making and creating beautiful music together. Confidence is what I had to bring every time that I stood in front of my choirs for over 20 years directing them. It's the same thing with our singular business. We have to bring confidence. You are the experts. They came to you because they trusted you, right? People are going to buy from those they know, like, and trust. So you must bring confidence. It is totally the key. For just a moment, I want you to close your eyes and think for just a second. How confident right now are you in yourself? How confident are you in your business? How confident are you in this crazy world? You can open your eyes again. And know, if you're struggling a little bit, maybe your confidence is waning a tad. You're not alone, but we've got to do something about it, right? Because I find, especially when my confidence is low, so is my happiness, my joy. I may withdraw from the world, withdraw from those around me. I now want you to think, especially those in this room or others in your life, who you perceive as being super high confident. A lot of them are in this room, right? You may think those who you might, really respect and think are always going to be confident. Maybe they were just born that way. But the truth is, probably for most of them, they've had to work on it. It's something that you have to work on and be intentional about every single day. And confidence is not something that it's a destination, like learning to tell time or ride a bike or drive a car, right? It's something we truly do have to work on every day. So building and maintaining it is super important. And it's something that we can't wait until we get to maybe, does anybody have like that perfect number on the scale? Maybe that you want to get back to personally? Or, maybe a trip on the passport program that you've been wanting to earn. Or maybe finding or even becoming that amazing distributor. You can't wait for those things to happen to feel and portray being very self-confident. It's something we have to build right now. So in researching self-confidence, I found 4 different types. The first one is the unwarranted confidence. This is kind of a cocky arrogance, one we don't really want to spend much time on, right? You're going to be overestimating your insecurities. We're going to skip right past that one because it's not important. Number 2 is the speak into existence confidence. This picture is from 4 years ago when I was invited to be a part of the Leadership Summit. At Sundance, we had a little free time back in 2018, and I took a hike by myself. I remember going about halfway up the mountain and turning around and looking down, getting into a power pose, and speaking aloud to myself and out in the wilderness what many of you probably heard Miss Calvin say before: everything always works out for us. Say that together. Everything always works out for us. It's powerful, right? So that's one way of using the speak into existence confidence. Another one, this is not, of course, something new. Hopefully you all have some positive self-affirmations that you like to go to. Here's a few of my favorites. Let's speak a couple of these. We're going to do the first 3. Let's say them confidently together. I am successful and will radiate success. I am enough. My business is growing, expanding, and thriving. Yes, You can keep going. 3. We have to remember that what we think about, we bring about. And what we tell ourselves, our mind believes. So we have to make sure and fill our head with all these positive things that we want to bring about. Another way you can use this is dressing the part. I know it sounds silly, but especially over these past few years, it's like, just take a shower. Maybe put on some clothes that make you feel good. Wear some fun shoes, fun jewelry, have your hair done, put on some makeup. It's going to make you feel more confident. I'm planning right now a 2,000-mile trip to take my daughter from Texas to Vermont for her school in the fall, and she hates to travel, hates to be in the car driving. So we're going to really rely on music. She does love that. And so we're creating some playlists and then kind of figuring out with my talk what I wanted to share. One thing is a hype song. Do you all have like a hype song that's going to pump you up? I was sharing some playlists I've been creating and looking at ones that she has, and she even has a girl power playlist on her phone, which makes me proud. These are some of the songs that we share. Another thing you can look at, thinking about that power pose, I'm going to play a quick clip from Ted Lasso.
But I have a secret. I make myself big. Before I go into the room, I find somewhere private, I stand on my tiptoes with my arms in the air, and make myself as big as possible, to feel my own power. Like this. You're amazing. It's in fake France. It's a bit silly, but it works for me.
Now, you don't have to become like a hissing dinosaur, but whatever makes you feel powerful. I encourage you to use these things, before you make that scary call or reach out to someone who you know would be amazing at the business. Utilize it. I've already done it. Confidence is the third kind. So some of you, this is the text blast if you want to join it if you haven't yet. Tune in to 9 at 9 that my amazing mentor and coach, Nicole Koetting, started years and years ago. I remember 2014, so this was 8 years ago, she was going on one of her trips to Africa, and she asked if I would lead the 9 at 9 call while she was gone. My youngest child, who now will be going into 6th grade this fall, he was 3 or 4 in preschool. I remember I had to get him there early so I could get him into his class, walking back out to my car, sitting there with my hands sweating and shaking, and probably sweat dripping down my face as well, holding on to these 2 pages of handwritten notes that I was going to lead, calling in, leading the call, very, very nervous. So that was the first time. Now, thankfully, lots of you I know do tune in, and I get to lead it every Wednesday. Thankfully, I don't type, write out 2 pages, and my hands don't shake anymore when I do it. Usually I plan it the night before, sometimes the morning of. So it's that I've already done it, confidence. But think about that first time that you made your first post, or first time you led a training, or got on a Zoom. Certainly it's going to get easier with every time. The fourth and final type of confidence is the most important. It's the work hard to develop it confidence. Competence creates confidence. It's what takes you from being a novice to a master. Think of that, if you can, one of the very first times that you shared about Singular in person. I know for me, I certainly wasn't confident, and wasn't competent either, but it's something I had to work on and hone my skills to be able to do it better and better, the more often we did it. You do have to work hard, thousands and thousands of hours to become competent at what we're doing. I know this has already been shared today, but the number one action I feel that changed my business 7 years ago was being consistent. Making no excuses, no matter what my points say, no matter if I'm down, if I'm up, no matter if somebody quit, no matter if someone's on vacation, no matter if anyone in my downline has signed up anybody who's, first few weeks of the month or whatever, I'm going to make no excuses. I'm going to be working. Because I'm confident, I am, by those actions, going to find my next amazing distributor. My points will go back up to where they were before. For one reason, because it's been there before. We can do it again. But we have to practice and hone our skills. Here's a couple pictures of when I've been particularly, or felt particularly confident in these past 10 years. That first picture on the top left is of me and one of my friends, Danielle, on Mother's Day back in 2013. This was after running my first, and actually only, half marathon. I'm not a runner, but I wanted to do it. She continued on and did Ironman, but anyway, this is after the finish line with 7 of our 8 children. And just the feeling that I got, I remember that last stretch with all of my family cheering me on, confident and proud. The one underneath there was 4 years ago when I turned 40. I threw myself a really fun birthday party. Those are my sisters and my mom. And the lady in the middle, her name is Susan Gibson, and she's a folk singer from my town who's gone on to do some amazing things. She actually wrote the song Wide Open Spaces that the Dixie Chicks recorded, but got to have her there for a private concert. But you can see that, I was feeling super confident. I had really cool shoes on, and some nice red pants I grabbed from Holly Parrish's closet. But I had my hair done, and my makeup done, and wearing eyelashes. I don't ever do that. But dressing the part. I'd also been following our meal plan for 3 months with no cheating. This is before 75 hard was cool, I guess. I think I did 90 days. Anyway, but feeling very confident. The pictures on the right-hand side were just from a couple years ago. My husband nicely has bought me new minivans every few years, having 4 kids, quite the necessity. But a couple years ago I realized I was down to 2 kids who were going to be driving and 2 kids who needed driving around. So I decided it was time for me to get a lot more fun car than that minivan. So on my own, I went and test drove a lot of really cool luxury cars and negotiated my purchase contract with the Jaguar dealership. And that day that the car drove up right there, I still remember it because I was crying. Just so very proud and confident. A lot of it coming from Singular to allow me to be able to purchase a car of my dreams. And now every time I get in it, I don't quite make that face. That's the face my kids snapped whenever I got in there. But it still empowers me every time I get into that car. So now I want you to think back. A time, it could even be all the way back to your childhood, where you felt particularly confident. Maybe it's when you put on a fun outfit that you've been working towards. Maybe it's when you got a raise or a bonus at your job. Maybe it's when you graduated from high school or college, walking across that stage. So take a moment and think about that moment. Take a deep breath. You're going to identify that emotion and make a conscious effort to lock in the feeling that you brought to memory. So breathe in deep. And slowly exhale. Feel your body empowered by that feeling and that emotion. This is called the Stanislavski technique. He was a Russian acting coach in the 1800s and used this to help his actors learn to portray more emotion. So I encourage you to use this whenever you are doing something scary, right? To bring that to mind. Actually, I was having a little Jaguar feelings right before I walked on the stage. It's going to help you to be able to portray that confidence, even when you may not have it. So our work and our confidence cannot come from the points that we find in our back office. It's something that has to be intentionally worked on. We also need to remember as we bring new people in, they're scared, they're nervous. So we have to not only lend them our belief, but our confidence until they have moved on enough to be able to work on it themselves. So I encourage you to spend even just 1 or 2 minutes a day. Truly commit to doing that every single day. 1 to 2 minutes isn't a lot, right? But to intentionally work on your self-confidence. Whether you want to use to speak it into existence with self-affirmations, with a hype song, with a power pose, sing dinosaur, or the way that you dress, or the Stanislavski method to recall that experience of where you felt confidence and then utilize it. But I promise in all of it, we all have to become confident. So it's going to create more confidence, and it's worth the work. Because self-confidence is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, magic starts